Is it connecting? Connecting. We'll see. So, camera's higher than it normally is, I think. I think I got the camera higher because the microphone usually pops in, but that should work. Hey, Rocky. Hey, Jax. Yeah. Okay. The microphone is sensitive enough that it's picking up your breathing. And are we getting anybody in? It's 4 o'clock, and I see nobody. Everybody forgot about me. May 31st. It was the end of the lives. Nobody cared anymore. That's a bit weird. Yeah, the lives are done. No more live. They quit showing up. That is weird. I'm going to have to go on here and check to see if I am live. Because nobody's showing up. Okay. Legends. Check my website. Live. Says it's upcoming. No. Nope. Why is it not? Why am I not here? Well, there you are. Okay. Now people are showing up all of a sudden. I was about ready to give up. I was looking at it and not seeing it, and it was kind of strange. Okay, that's something delayed reaction there. Well, now everything's populating. Okay, there we go. So you're live in North Carolina. Well, there you go. And everybody's here. There's Bobby and Glenn and Frog and Ken and Glenn again, because Glenn's there twice. And Major Cavendish and Bonnie and Ed. So today we have, because we like to kick it off with the weather, 102 degrees, 102 mild degrees in the great state of Arizona. And we got it coming, because tomorrow's 100, then 99, then we go 100, 102, 108, and next Thursday it will be 110. So I'd like to inform everybody that summertime is here. So we're supposed to peak up at 110 Thursday. It should drop back down, but yeah. It's been coming. It's been looming. It's been kind of sitting out there, getting ready to slap us hard in the side of the head. And here it comes. There's David. And we got the Arizona Gold Hunter. Happy Fridays. Yeah, happy Friday. So there, yeah, camera's a little higher. I don't know what I did. I reset it for something. Oh, I reset it for a podcast. I don't know if anybody caught the Ear Mob podcast. The guy, Chaz Stumbo, and he did some drumming for Lynch Mob, and I think we did a couple hours last night, so we did that. So look it up. It was cool. I think it's up on my page, and on the different pages you'll find the links for it. Mine and Dutch Hunter Rendezvous and stuff, but did a little podcast with him, and then here I am again today. So I have plenty to talk about, obviously, that I returned again. Got that glare today, but furnace kicked in last night. Well, the furnace kicked in, I hear it's just outside the house. Hey, Jorge. All right. So, and Jax is here. I need to get that little box for Jax so he can just sit here, because it looks weird the way I'm moving around, because I actually have a dog's head in my lap. But, there he is. So, another week in the books, the end of May, so we will be shooting into June here soon. I hope everybody's been enjoying the Monday videos. We don't have a Trevor. Good thing we didn't have technical issues. Trevor is right now, well, let's see where Trevor is. I think he's asleep, but I'm trying to figure out where is he at exactly. Trevor is Montpellier, France. So he's in France with his sister, and tomorrow I don't remember where they travel, but tomorrow night they should be in Spain. So made it out of Paris, and then now they're traveling south, heading for Spain. So he had a pretty good day today, and he gave me a call. So, not that he ever appears on any of this stuff or does anything, but yeah, so Trevor's off France and Spain. See him in another week or so, and then we'll hear about his adventures. We'll probably put up some videos I don't know if he'll want to do it for Chasing Legends or whatnot, but he's doing a lot of filming out there, kind of as he tours the countryside. Well, Paris was cool because he's been to France, but he's never been into Paris. And now he'll be in Spain for a while, Madrid, Toledo, and places like that. And then he'll leave there and head for home. His photos have been great, really. Yeah, his photos have been good. He before he left, he went and got a new iPhone. He upgraded his phone. So most of his pictures we're seeing and stuff we're seeing that he's putting in social media are from the phone. But he said he's equally using his Blackmagic camera to film and take pictures as well. So, because what he wants to do is a comparison side by side of the iPhone and its camera 4K and technology, and then he wants to compare it with the more professional upgrade. So it'll be very cool to see that. But then I think we did it before when he's been certain places, and it'll be nice. I told him he should do a video blog of his time there. You guys are very needy tonight. What's up with that? You drove your brother away, and you're breathing into me. Yeah, I don't know what's up with you two. But anyways, yeah, I do seem to be sitting small here. So again, I adjusted the chair and I adjusted the camera, and I kind of like the shot though. I think the shot's pretty good. I like that it picks up the whole wall instead. So anyhow, so he will be back. Never been to Spain. Spain is very nice. He said the best way he could sum it up was very similar to Tucson. He said, it felt kind of very home, and so that was kind of, he said he felt very comfortable there. He really enjoyed it in Spain. The worst part is, he said, when you're out in a lot of the tourist zones and stuff, the gypsies and pickpockets and stuff, you have to deal with a lot of stuff. But said he wears his backpack on the front because they'll steal things out of your backpacks and stuff. But no, he really enjoys it. He likes Spain because there's so much history there. But this time in France, he got to see a lot of the Roman history and stuff as well, and French different eras of history. So had a good time. He went to the Louvre, and he said he didn't get to spend near as much time in the Louvre as he wanted. He said it was just amazing how much stuff's there, and he says you look around and you're trying to even remember what things are because you know what they are because you're looking at them and thinking, I've seen that. And so, but no, he's had a good trip. His sisters enjoyed it as well, and can't wait for them to be safely home. It's a hard price to pay because neither of them, I think Trevor's sleeping okay. His sister has not been sleeping, and the big problem is you are traveling, forward in time, 9 hours, and then on top of it, it's, I don't think she slept much on the plane, neither does he. And then you get there, and then you're completely out of whack. And then, of course, you're literally every night or every other night in a different bed, a different situation. And it's just hard to adjust to. I know it's been raining off and on a lot in France. He said France was actually quite cool, so they didn't have a jacket or anything. So kick the thumbs up until it turns black, fellas. There you go. Let's see. Great view of your guitars tonight. Yes, absolutely. So, yeah. And I don't know if I go left or right, but you see the standard Strat. It's American Standard Strat. And anybody get the difference between the first Strat and the second Strat? We'll see if someone catches the difference between the two, because everybody will think they're the same, but they're not. And then the third one's my Lemon Burst 59 reissue Les Paul, and then my Wine Burst. What I call it, the Wine Burst. I guess it could be Burgundy, but I call it the Wine Burst Les Paul. And then I got what I refer to as my Tobacco Les Paul, and then I got my REA C18 Classical over there that I got with Miguel Bernal, who was a student of Segovia, which I did a video on that once. I talked about the guitar a bit and the history of how I picked it up. So that's those. And then Trevor's has that guitar. I gotta always remember which is left or right. This guitar right over here, that acoustic guitar he picked up from someone. It's a classical someone picked up. That's Trevor's actually. I think he told me it's mine, but I told him no, that he can have that one. I have mine, and then of course the Fender P bass over here, the Precision. So we got that, and then there's Harley Quinn with the small Les Paul over there, and then all the cases have guitars. There's another Les Paul over there. There's a Telecaster over there, and a couple other guitars. I'm trying to count, and I think there's 5 guitars in those cases, and then there's over here 4 more guitars, and then there's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cases over here. So. So it's quite a mix of guitars everywhere. We'll have to do. I told Trevor sometime we need to go through and just do a quick video on each guitar and so forth, and kind of the difference between them and all, because they are interesting. You know, they all have their unique flavors and sounds and styles. So, and there you go. Let's see here. Okay, anyone still interested in the Sycamore Spanish Mine story? I found what looks like an arrastra in Sycamore Canyon. Okay. Well, I'll always share and catch us and throw it in the comments elsewhere as well, or anything leading up to it. There's always good information can come up, and follow-ups and stories and all. Tilted pickup. Well, it's a left-handed guitar, and someone had it right. It's the Hendrix model. Everything's reversed except the body. It's a right-handed guitar, but it has a left-handed neck on it. Kind of, yeah. It's kind of, everything's kind of out of sync. It has a very unique tone to it. It's a pretty cool guitar. So, but it's the Hendrix model, which is not correct, because a Hendrix model would be just a right-handed guitar that you play left-handed. There we got some coordinates from Lauren, and all right, there we go. Good afternoon, David. There's 2 Davids, and Christian. Hey, and Ed's still there. He's talking like Hendrix Rat, always interested. Laura, and everybody's always interested. Just take a look. I'll have to write that down and do it later, because I can't do it now because I got the podcast up and running. You got to be careful not to lean down too low, because I got this whole thing kind of whole different mid-set. So there we go. Did have a good conversation this week with Dr. Thomas Glover. So he gave me a call, and we caught up. Did a good amount of catching up for a while. We usually have shorter conversations, but this time we got rolling into some really interesting conversations. We actually, this conversation was really nice, because it really wasn't Dutch Hunter. It was just life and how's things going and different things about, in our lives and stuff, and backstory. So it's nice to get to know people. Thomas is a well-educated, interesting individual who's had quite a history himself, and written, 4 or 5 books. I know he's working on something else, so probably not a Dutch Hunter book. Has a PhD. Very, very smart, very interesting individual. And then I did briefly talk to Frank this week. Didn't get to hold of anybody else. I got to make some phone calls probably next week. I'm going to have to catch up with some people. We're getting into summer, and everybody's kind of busy, and it's kind of hot, and then that's kind of like where everything kind of goes. So this is usually that time where I'll start pulling some books down and rereading stuff and filling my head up with some familiar stories, some familiar things. And that's one of the things we're trying to balance right now. As I told Trevor, I want to pull the file of a story I find interesting, that I think holds some merit. And I said it would be nice to do one Arizona Superstitions that I've never kind of heard before, which is always getting harder. And then kind of find a personal anecdote story for myself or someone else who shared with me. And then pull something historical out of the books, like we did what did we do this last time? We did James H. Cravey. So, which kind of got the truth on that more documented Cravey. So, I kind of like that balance. And maybe we'll find some other things and stuff and kind of do that. So we were working through, and like I said, I did that podcast last night and kind of gave a peek at some of many file cabinets and material that's sitting around. And it's interesting because, you can only go through so much. I have been trying to meticulously go through, look at what's in things, making new folders for them where they need to be, and then kind of like reading through it and kind of going through. So, and like I said, there's a couple drawers full of just Arizona, and I'm kind of a little picky of some of them, but some of them are interesting. And then I want to kind of move into the different counties. There's always interesting stuff county-wise in Arizona. But then always bring it back to the superstitions. But there are some stuff, and I don't think we've ever really, outside of Victoria Peak, really went outside of Arizona. And I'd like to kind of expand in a little of that. I want to really look into the New Mexico file more. I mean, once you get into California, Colorado, Nevada, Texas, there's tons of stuff. But I like to find those ones that are off the beaten path that kind of feel relevant. So you can keep sinking down. And Trevor always puts the chair down lower. You know, I don't know what it is, but he always wants to sit like he's almost sitting on the floor. Why are you on a chair if you're going to sit that low? So there we go. So that's kind of that. Oh, thanks for posting your book collection. Wow. Well, that was just kind of like, I did it because it wasn't so much showing off, but little. But it was mainly to give people a lot of references, a lot of different volumes that are different editions. But to kind of people can go through and blow up the picture and go, oh, I haven't heard of that. I haven't seen that. And so they can kind of see by the spine some of the different editions and things to look for. It's better than typing it out. Unfortunately, there's a bunch of manuscript stuff. And there are some pieces that are just unavailable. They were done kind of as private projects. And those are very interesting books as well. We did do the video one time on going through most of everything on the bookshelves. But maybe someday we'll do that again because it's always expanding. But that's the bookshelf that's right here to my immediate right. I have those, and then there's several more bookshelves that are just loaded in the rest of the house concerning other things. So it's like never ending, but I really do enjoy reading. So there you go. The Gulf Coast states are very interesting too. Lots of pirate stuff. Yeah, and we have a lot of stuff on shipwrecks, a lot of charts and stuff. So that's pretty cool stuff too. That one day we'll have to get into that. Don Shade found Walt Gessler's body and said that he saw someone down there. Was Crazy Jake or Jake's guys? It was either Jake or some of Jake's guys up the canyon. But again, I talked to someone about it, and they said, well, it could have just been that they were coming through the canyon, they got spooked off. They had saw the body too, and all this. There's people out there who like to make conspiracy. Walter Gassler was going in the mountains. I'm going to say, probably, most likely, he had a heart attack and died. It was hot, and that was kind of it. And he died there on the rock. So I think the only thing suspicious of it was the guys coming up or down Peters Mesa that were near the body when Shade found it. And they didn't. And one of the problems is, and I think Shade even says it in his book, but I think he even talks about it, is you didn't want to go up to the body and become part of the whole situation. You wanted to keep your distance and then report it that you think you saw a body up there. So kids like everything low pants, cars, everything low. So the aha moments on different books. Yeah, and we discussed that last night. That was something on that podcast that, like I said, it's an ear mob. Check it out. It was a good conversation. There's some probably interesting things there for people. Authors write books to sell books. And if they're not writing books to sell books, they're also writing books to give their opinion. Some of my favorite books that are nonfiction, they're not giving opinions. They're just stating fact. They're textbook, and textbooks don't sell. Textbooks are boring. They're just giving you the detail, the dry run of things. But I like those kind of books. Tom Collenborn's Chronological History of the Superstitions. I really love that book. It's a great reference book, and it's a monster to read through. But you're just going through, and there's a lot of familiarity. It gives you dates and other things to look at. Of course, everything in that book, you go look, there's a newspaper article that expands that whole story, which is great. But I like that sort of thing even better because it opens up the different possibilities and research into stuff. Hey, Sky Clouds here, Greetings Way, Gilgold Prospecting, San Antonio, Texas, where every day is a golden day. Okay, he's viewing today's show from Downeyville, California. Prospecting numerous gold nuggets. Okay, there you go. I thought he was saying Brownsville, Texas at first. but he's from San Antonio, Texas, but he's in Donnyville, California. Crazy Jake had Al Morrill's map. Could he have gone over Gassler's body? He could have. I don't think Gassler had anything. The Gassler story, and someday we'll go, I wish Bob Corbin, I don't know, Bob's health isn't in a place where I don't know if you want to bother him, because he's told it enough times. But from what I talked to Tom Collenborn and Bob Corbin, is they really didn't know Walter Gassler, and he reached out to them and wanted to go in the mountains, and it has a different perspective when you talk to them, kind of like this another Dutch hunter that made contact with them that wanted to go into the mountains. They didn't really have the time, and they were more familiar with him after he passed away than before. It's an interesting story, but when you talk to them, it becomes a little more mundane, because if they thought he really knew something, if he was this incredible, well-known Dutch hunter, this sort of thing, and always the urban legend builds larger. The manuscript, the information in that, and his thing. But I always, when I first read it, I was like, wow, this is so incredible. And then I had also, at that time, I was doing an article for the Superstition Mountain Journal, which I never got any of my articles published, which is a shame, because I still have them. And if there ever was a book, hey, Dallas, I still have your note here. I wrote down last week. I got Dallas right. Heart carvings. But I was working on a thing on William Augustus Barclay, Tex Barclay. And I was gonna get that. I wanted to get that published in the journal, because I wanted back history. Because I talked to Nancy Barclay and a number of other people, and I wanted kind of a little more on, because Tex Barclay is so involved in so many different stories. And as I went to do that, and I talked to people, I started bringing up that about Gassler and the manuscript and stuff, and certain aspects of it. And I also learned something that was very important when I went back and started to read it again, was Tex liked, even if the more he liked you, the more he would pull your leg or tell you outlandish things or just tell you nonsense. And I started looking at it and realizing, I wonder how much Walter Gassler took things serious that Tex wasn't being as serious about. Because Barclay was all over those mountains and stuff. And if he had all these clues or knew this really definitive stuff, why? So I don't know how much of it is this or that. It's not saying that Barclay didn't like Gassler. He probably liked him a lot. He could have been on a good terms with him and stuff, but he was on it with a lot of people, and he pranked a lot of people about a lot of things. So I don't know if anybody knows someone like that, but someone that knows a hell of a lot, and then you find they tell you a lot of BS, just good-naturedly, just purposely, just to catch you and pull your leg and stuff, because they like you. And I have more than a few friends of that, and sometimes they are nice enough to go, gotcha. See, I gotta be careful. I'm gonna just disappear. Attaway girl, hi, there you are. So, but here I am. So I'm sinking. You need to see it. I needed a pillow in the old chair. I got the new chair, and Trevor lowered it, and I forgot to raise it back up, and then I moved the camera, and now I'm just disappearing. Have you read more on the Eco Resort by the Quarter Circle? There was a story in the Independent newspaper. No, I hadn't caught up to that. Work was busy, and there was a lot of things I had to deal with, and because of that, everything else got kind of pushed aside. And like I said, we got some stuff. And a girl playing safe. Tried to just concentrate on the chasing legends and a couple other things, and getting some things organized for the summer and so forth. So, and I promised Trevor that a number of things that I wanted to film and do over the summer, I wanted to do things in some blocks, And so I was pulling files and then trying to sort out what I wanted to do and kind of lay it out and review it, and then by the time he came back from France and Spain, kind of have an idea of what I wanted to do. I never know what these little colored boxes are doing. They turn all kinds of colors, and I've always wondered what do those actually mean. They have something to do with the computer, I'm sure. I don't know why they're there. They're very distracting. It has nothing to do with what we're doing. So there we are. So we're at 101 degrees, and we're here, and 110 next Thursday. I'm over it. So, but I'm glad I got the haircut, because I'm not going to have that basically all sweaty, dried out hair that gets crunchy and sticks to your skin and dealing with all that crap. So I'll keep it this way probably for the summer and try to enjoy kind of maybe it's funny because it doesn't seem to matter. I've had people tell me they shave their heads and it's just as hot. Yeah, it doesn't seem to feel like it's that much cooler without all the hair. I don't know what it is, but yeah. So, but I'm enjoying it to some degree. I don't know. I was hoping it would make me look so young and beautiful, and it didn't quite do that. So, all right, I've returned. Actually feels better too. I told Trevor, I don't know about anybody else. I'm buffering now. Now I'm buffering. I don't know how anybody can sit with their legs, their knees up, like the chair's too short. And everybody's saying they lost me. I don't know why it's buffering. And I don't have... I used to have a router in here. That sucked. And saying that, it sucked that they lost me, but I'm still here. It's still recording. What's happening to all of you? Are you all disappearing? We Apache braid our hair to the sides in the summer and down in the winter. There we go. Sky cloud. And we were just warming up. It's funny because I don't know if everybody lost me. You're back, but it was a long pause. Yeah, I don't know if everybody's getting the same buffering or not. Seems okay now. Well, I fixed my chair, so maybe that's what it is. I fixed the chair and it buffered the universe. So I got the chair, got myself back up into frame and all that. Again, I don't like it when the chair's too low because your legs, kind of your knees are up, and then that's what gives you kind of your back and your feet and your legs. It makes it difficult when you sit here an hour or so. And then you go to get up and you're like a 95-year-old man. Speaking of which, we will sit here. Hopefully everybody's got me back. Another good day to be alive. Thanks, Wayne, for your efforts. Thank you. Shaking up our world. Hey there, cool guy. Anyways, what was I going to say? Oh, shout out to one of my employees. I will refer to the people that work with me, Judy Schimmel. I think her mom's getting ready to turn 109. So, yeah. So, cool. I think that's pretty impressive. You make it to 109. I don't know if you did something right or you did something wrong in this world, because maybe if you live that long, you screwed something up big time and they're not letting you go. But yeah, she's going to be 109. So, that's a good old age, man. You get up to 109. And at that point, it's like my dad would always say, yeah, it's cool you got that far, but how much of it can you remember at that point? So, 109 though. That's, I was impressed when, who was it? George Johnson was like 98, 99. So, but nah. So that was pretty cool. So, and I always like to hear about you like to meet those kind of people occasionally, but especially if they got some pretty cool memories, and they always have to have a good life. If you're around for 109 years, you probably have a decent story or two. Got my drink. Did you ever go out to the supers in the dead summer and you go, yeah, I always did. I did. I actually filmed. I filmed a little of that. I filmed a couple times when I was out by myself. And I didn't film the aftermath, but there was a couple times I went out and filmed. The one time I used to make one trip. I would go out during the summer, but then I always make a solo trip in July. And I realized, and I've talked about it before, I made that last big solo trip, is I got back in there, and then I realized coming out that I kind of bit off more than I chew. It was one of those days that felt very mild. I drove down in. I was really good. I had no cell reception whatsoever. Nobody knew I was down there that day. I think it was July 4th, too. I think I went down on July 4th. And I was kind of like in an area where nobody goes. And then on the way out, I realized, oh, man, it heated up. I mean, it was a nice morning, and I was getting in a good sweat. And then it just turned into, like, really baking. I got back to the truck, and I realized I was too shaky. I was not going to be able to drive for a while. So I was just pouring water on me, sipping water, running the AC, trying to get my body temperature fine. It took an hour or two, and then I got myself where I felt like, okay, I'm good again. And then I drove I got up to Tortilla Flat, and I got up there and got something cool to drink and got inside for a little bit. But that was the one where I realized, man, that was really stupid because nobody had a clue where I was. And my truck was kind of parked out of the way where nobody would have been able to see it for a while. So it would have been really a bad idea. And I was like, that wasn't that long ago, maybe 5 or 6 years, 5 years ago. But I think I talked about it in a video, and I did it like that, and I filmed some of it. But I used to do it more. Now I'll do shorter trips, but I used to like to push it. But it never bothered me as much. And then that one is the one that I just, wrong day, wrong time. Wasn't me. It was mainly what can happen to anybody. And that's when I realized, oh, crap. You know what? I could be one of those people too. And then I said, okay, I'm done with that stuff. Don't need to, I don't need to be that guy and stupid, because who's going to give a crap? You going to build a memorial to me? No. Tortillas are flat, right? Yes, that's why they called it Tortilla Flat. Supposedly, there's multiple reasons why they say they called it. Do you still leave caches out there? Well, this was an area where I didn't have one. I hadn't done that in that area or anything. And it wasn't about water. It was just purely heat. I went in. It was nice. It was in the 90s. Once I got back in, it was in a riparian area, so there was a lot of tree and stuff, but it was a little more humid. And the temperature got up into the mid-hundreds, up into the high hundreds. And I exerted and I sweated a lot. And I filmed some. And I looked back at the footage, and you can tell I was just really... It was getting hotter. And I cut my trip short because I realized, wow, it's really baking up. There's... a lot of times there's just suddenly no shade. You turn around and go, like, all the shade's gone today. Damn it. So there was no breeze, and then I started working out, and as I took it bit by bit, I just tried to stay steady, and I just realized at one point is like, man, my tongue's dry, my mouth's dry, my body's hot. I can feel it. I can feel my bones are hot. My head, I could just tell everything wasn't right, and I was like, crap. Because I became conscious enough of how bad it was. I just started consciously thinking how I felt more than anything else. And then when I got back to the truck, I just realized, man, I'm dizzy as shit, and I shouldn't be driving and stuff. So I just decided to sip water and, like I said, just cool it till I felt like my body core temperature came down. It would have been interesting to see how hot my body core temperature was, because, like I said, I got there and I was blowing some cool air on me after I put water over my head and everything, and I still felt like it was just coming off of me. I just felt like, I was hot. So I couldn't get rid of the heat out of my system for a long time. So it was a lesson I learned, see. So, did you conclude and find the lack of on? No, because there's some trips I want to make. We want to film one because there's a couple places I want to check. And some stories I heard about them, and they're places I'm very, very interested in. So I would love to do it this summer, but I'm not sure. And it's, everybody's going to keep saying water. It's not what is used to catch water. We always just use thick plastic jugs and stuff. My dad had an old metal tank you could do it in. It always tasted like crap out of that. But you just use the plastic jugs and stuff. And one of the nice things about it was you take it and you just bury it. And then if it just breaks down and falls apart, it's just water. And then you dig it up and then you remove the plastic and put a new one in. So we would leave different ones in different spots. If you can get it out of the sun and the shade and stuff, and it's out of the heat and stuff, they can last a long time. Trying Drank some water outside of, yeah, the water can kind of taste like bad. Terracotta the best. But yeah, I used to leave cans of food and stuff. I know a few of those places out there. I don't know if I'd eat the food anymore. Who knows? But, I told the story about the time the guy took my freaking can opener. I cursed that individual. But, yeah, I always, when I made pretty frequent trips in, it was always good to bring some stuff in and then leave a few things here and there. And I always tried to look at it as every quarter to half mile, make sure there was a stash somewhere in some direction. And I would always go in one way and come out a different way. And I think if you watch the videos, you'll see where Frank says, this isn't the way we normally go. And I'd be like, oh, no, we're taking a different route today. Because every time I like to walk a little bit of a different path. And you leave things that way so there's different, if someone finds something or whatever. What is that you're saying? Is that spam? Man, you know what? That just... Man, it's 110 degrees out and you're sick and and spam. Anyways, did you meet Charlie LeSueur? Yes, I met Charlie. I met Charlie several times. We met down at... when he suddenly got interested in the Superstitions. I'd never met him. He was never around, never at the rendezvous. Nothing on out of nowhere. I think he hung around the museum by the barn with the TV cowboys. And I met him down there one time. This is before he did the mysteries thing. And he was just one of a number of different guys. And it was nice enough, and we talked a little, and then we did our show, and then he started his thing, and then the couple conversations we had is I told him, hey, what we should do is something like you come out and film the same time we're doing something. You can film us while we're filming, we're doing whatever. We can cross over and stuff. And we talked about it a little, but he died shortly thereafter. He got sick, and I heard he died, but no, I didn't have a problem. Charlie just doing what he was doing, which was different than... But I think originally his whole thing, if you ever go back, his whole premise was he's going to tell the real truth about the Superstitions, and then they basically just did a bunch of Tom Collenborn stuff, and then they said a bunch of inaccurates, it was like, but it's whatever. But yeah, they were attached to the museum. Hank was there too, and those aren't the guys that are at the rendezvous and back in the mountains with everybody. That's a whole different. That's kind of the museum. I wouldn't call them Dutch hunters. The museum guys. So there's a difference between those guys and the Dutch hunters and stuff. And the Dutch hunters are very unique and so forth. And there's a lot of people I met after, and I like Charlie. And it was, we reference him in one video. Because we were down by LeSueur Avenue, and I think it was it Mesa? I think it's in Mesa, down there by the temple. And I was really surprised that nobody really knew who he was. Not a lot of people knew Hank either. People knew Hank through the museum and stuff, see? So it's a different thing. So the people that are into the museum or work at the museum and stuff will think all those guys have an incredible amount of knowledge when it's just reading and telling tall tales on the porch. They're not the back in the mountains Dutch hunting guys. So, and that's a whole different kind of two different things. So I met him before he passed away a few years before, and we talked a few times, and nice enough guy, I guess. I didn't have a problem with him. So he had one of those voices that you hear Charlie's voice, you knew it was Charlie's voice. Can you tell me your thoughts on the trick in the trail? That one's always, to me, I know there was several things, and I know there was a couple journals I read in it where those guys, it was the trick in the trail would be something between rocks or someplace. And I've been places where that happens, where you turn or you cliff out and stuff, and you can't figure out, I know there's a way through this. I've been here, and I don't know. And there's a certain way you'll turn, and it's almost blind to you until you start to go through it. You think there's no way to go that way, and then it opens up, and it's another pathway. That's what I think it is the trick isn't necessarily so much as a trick. It's just you're walking through, and then you realize, and there's a place on Bluff Springs Mountain that fits that so well. When I hit it, I was kind of just really, really kind of found it interesting. I ended up cliffing out several times. Even after I found it, I cliffed out several times because I couldn't find it again. It was so difficult to remember exactly what it was. It wasn't, and it's hard to explain. It wasn't something so really familiar. You're kind of working on these cliffs along these ledges, and then just you don't think you have any place to go, and there's this one spot between these rocks that you can go through and fit through, and it opens up and it goes across and down another ridge and into an arroyo. And I was really kind of like stunned that was.